Don't adjust your sets. Trust me, it's still 6:30 Thursday. I'm just in a different spot today. And so, yeah, I'm excited about it. My main Reggie right here. Fred. I'm sorry, Fred. Reggie's the other guy. I'm sorry. I'm new to this. Y'all know ain't no any mistakes I make on here. It's live. So, my man Freddie right here. Checking out his setup here. So we decided to do something a little different tonight. So 6:30 Thursday, time to get a little sharper. What's good, family? Hope you're doing well, having a good week. Staying on your grind. Continue to stay focused on what it is you need to be doing to get better each and every day. So keep going, keep pushing. Quitting is not an option. That's what we don't quit. That's not an option. So let's get started because I got a lot I want to talk about and I'm excited about it. I've been thinking about this all week and I just hope and pray I'm able to do with justice what I've been feeling and thinking all week. But here we go. On the count of three, as we always do. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. All right. Y'all know how we do. We do that because we need to have that moment. Especially if you had a day like I had today, you need that moment just to get yourself together. So we together. Let's go. I'm excited. Y'all already know how I do. I get excited on here real easy. So I'm excited. And because I'm excited, number one, because I got a chance to do something new today and hang out in a new spot. And yeah, hopefully y'all can hear me pretty well and all that good old stuff. So more to come. I told y'all, use what you got until more come, until better comes. Use what you got to get started. And he will add more to it. All right. But you got to stay diligent. You got to stay connected. You got to keep going. Quitting is not an option. Okay. He got to trust you with a little bit before you make you rule over many. Right. So let's do that. All right. Keep going. Now, I'm also excited because I've been thinking all week as normal. And we've been in 1 Kings. Right. We've been in 1 Kings chapter 1. And I'm feeling like my late Bishop Gerald Glenn. God rest his soul. I miss that man. He was an awesome man. But I miss him. But I'm feeling like him right now because I remember years ago he got to talking about Joshua. And he stayed on Joshua chapter 1. It seemed like he was on that joint for like a whole year. Just on chapter 1. So I'm feeling like him a little bit because y'all know we've been dealing with 1 Kings and we've been talking about learning a little bit more about Solomon. And we want to learn about Solomon because he was that guy that asked God for wisdom, and he was the wisest king of them all, okay? And so wisdom is something that we need. We want the knowledge, okay? Get the knowledge. That's what we're supposed to get is the knowledge. Get the understanding of how to do something. But you need the wisdom so you know when, where, and why you do it, okay? And how to do it. All that. The wisdom just takes it to another level, okay? Because you might have the knowledge, but you use it at the wrong time. That's no good, right? And so so we want to learn a little bit about Solomon and him being wise, right? So, but we still in chapter 1, and I can't get out chapter 1 because it always ends up being so much stuff up in chapter 1 that I haven't been able to get to chapter 2 yet. And guess what? We're going to be in chapter 1 next week again because I'm not going to be able to get through chapter 1 again this week. So we're going to keep going. But chapter 1, we back with it, right? And I told y'all we in chapter 1 of 1 Kings, Adonijah, that was David's, at that point, oldest son, because of the other ones had already passed on. So the oldest son, Adonijah, and I always jack his name up. Y'all, it ain't no different. I'm still jacking his name up. But y'all, go look him up in 1 Kings chapter 1. You see his name. But he wanted to put himself in that position as king, right? He's saying, I'm the oldest brother. Since I'm the oldest one and I got the right to be in that position. So he put himself in that position, right? So the first thing I want you to understand, and I'm reminding you of this, be careful of who you align yourself with that's putting themselves in position. Be careful because you might be messing around and tying yourself to the wrong folk and putting yourself in the wrong position because somebody else won't do something that they really don't have the right to do. And what also made that worse is the fact that his father, David, didn't call him out on the carpet and correct him. So what's the other thing that we talked about? You need to correct your kids. If they're wrong, they're wrong. Correct it, because that's actually showing love. You do them a disservice if you don't correct them. And if David had corrected his son, who was trying to make his own self the king, that would have saved him some embarrassment later on down the road. So make sure you take care of your kids. But I also want to go here. And this is what I'm getting excited about right here. I've been thinking about this all, bro. I've been sitting. I got an audience today. Y'all better watch out there now, boy. I got an audience today. But Fred, man, yeah, I'm trying to contain myself. I'm excited. See, this chair got me contained right now, and it's probably glad that I got this chair. But look, here's another thing I got out of 1 Kings chapter 1. Mamas. Y'all already know. Mamas. If somebody tell you that they're going to do something for your child, you know you're going to hold them to the fire on that, right? You bet not say you're going to do something for my child and then you turn around and act like it ain't going to happen. Mama going to call you out. Y'all mamas, raise your hand. Y'all already know. Y'all going to call them out. Don't mess with a mama's child. Don't mess with that mama child. Because you going to have something on your hand. You got a problem on your hand. Because mama going to let you know. That's my child. And that's a beautiful thing. But I got to thinking about this. And y'all can blame my wife, who is not with me this week. And so y'all already know that's a struggle for me because I love when she's with me. She helped keep me contained. But I'm telling y'all, man. I'm telling you. I got to reading something else. And I end up in Genesis chapter 1. And we're going to talk about Genesis chapter 1. We're still in 1 Kings. But we got to go through Genesis chapter 1 to kind of help y'all understand my point here. Because mamas, y'all some special. But we need to get what I got to thinking about. And my wife and I talked about it for a little bit earlier. And which kind of has been on my mind the whole time and is leading to what I'm talking about today. Is that the book came to mind with men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Okay? So, men and women. Maybe this word might help you with your relationship. It might help me with mine. So, because, you know, men and women, we different. But yet we the same. Okay? And when I read 1 Kings chapter 1, what stood out is the fact that Solomon's mom, Bathsheba, she won't take a no for an answer when it came to her child. Her child, you said my child gonna be the king. And here you got I keep messing this boy name up, Adonijah. He over here trying to put himself in as a king. And you ain't fixing that. You letting that happen. So what's the deal? So yeah, she called him out on the carpet. She went to question him. Y'all know how your mamas do. Y'all go walk up in the spot and ask some questions. You know, you ain't forget protocol. Walking on up in the door. What's the deal? What's going on? You said you was doing XYZ. ABC happening. I need to see XYZ. So that got me to thinking some more. And like I said, talking to my wife, I ended up in Genesis chapter 1. And let's talk about Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2. But in chapter 1, first thing I read about, everybody know about Genesis chapter 1, where God created the heavens and the earth and the water. And he spoke and it happened, right? In chapter 1, he did a whole bunch of creating. Okay? Now, I was like, chapter 1, he created. But in chapter 2, he formed. What's the difference? So now think about that. When you talk about creating, that's a mind thing. That's you formulating in your mind what you like. You didn't see, Fred, y'all didn't see this room until you first thought about how you wanted to be, till you was actually able to get here and start to form it, right? Putting things in place and then became to fruition. You was able to physically see it and be able to do things, but it first started in your mind. You created that vision, right? Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I got an audience today. Y'all better watch out there now. But and so God in chapter 1, he created everything, right? He created it. But then in chapter 2, and this is where I want to go. I promise y'all, I'm going here. All right, here we go. Chapter 2. I got to put the glasses on. Y'all watch out there. Y'all ain't know I was wearing glasses. Yeah, I do. I wear glasses. So only for reading purposes. But anyway, chapter 2, and this is where we go right here. I'm gonna kind of go through it pretty quickly, but it says this. When the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, neither wild plants nor grains were growing on the earth. Okay? For the Lord God had not yet sent rain to water the earth, and there were no people to cultivate the soil. Instead, springs came up from the ground and watered all the land. Then the Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground. He breathed the breath of life into the man's nostrils, and the man became a living person. Okay? So he created them in one, because you can go read it for yourself. I always tell you, go read it for yourself. Don't take it from me. Go read it for yourself. Genesis chapter 1, he talks about creating. Chapter 1 is all about creating. But number 2, that's when he started putting some life in it. Okay? He brought it to life. He formed it and put life in it. But I had to read that part right there. Again, he took man basically from the dust of the ground, and then he breathed life into him. Okay, that's what he did in verse number 7. So then he go on to chapter 8, where he talks about then the Lord God planted a garden in the Eden in the east, and there he placed the man he had made. Okay, then he talks about the trees and everything, and then going to talk more about how Eden was was made, and it was 4 branches of Eden. And y'all know about the Garden of Eden, so read it. Okay. Then the Lord God placed the man, he said again, the Lord God placed the man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over it. So y'all need to get this. The Lord God placed the man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over it. But the Lord God warned him, you may freely eat the fruit of every tree. Let me stop here for a second. I need to go back to that verse again. The Lord God placed the man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over it. That meant that he had dominion over it. He was in charge of it. That means I've given this to you, but you better do some work to keep it up. You can't just sit here and chill on the couch with your feet up and looking at it and think it's going to stay like it's supposed to be. He's telling him, you got to do some work, bro. I gave this to you, but you better do some work to keep it going. Okay? You can't just sit here and just look at it and think it's going to take care of itself. You got to do some work. So that's another attribute of man, is that we work. So let's keep going. All right. So then he says, but the Lord God warned him, you may freely eat the fruit of every tree in the garden, except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If you eat it, its fruit. If you eat its fruit, you are sure to die. So he gave that direction to who? Adam. He gave the direction to Adam. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. That's another whole sermon. That's another whole conversation. But Adam, that's the direction. Don't touch that tree. So then let's keep going. Then the Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. Lord, help us. I will make a helper who is just right for him. So the Lord God formed from the ground all the wild animals and all the birds of the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would call them. Again, he given them dominion over everything. You call it what you want to call it. Okay? All those animals out here, Adam gave a name to them, right? He said he brought them to the man. He gave names to all the livestock, all the birds of the sky and all the wild animals, but still there was no helper just right for him. So God gave him all of these and it still won't right. So God said, okay. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. While the man slept, the Lord God took out one of the man's ribs and closed up the opening. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib, and he brought her to the man. At last, the man exclaimed, this one is bone from my bone and flesh from my flesh. She will be called woman because she was taken from man. This explains why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two are united into one. Now, the man and his wife were both naked, but they felt no shame. So that's chapter 2. Okay. Now, I ain't gonna mess with that one about father leaving, about the man leaving his father and mother and clinging to his wife. That sounds like man and wife to me. Okay. That sounds like man and woman, becoming one. That's another conversation for another day. We're gonna keep moving. But here's what I want you to get from this. I'm still with 1 Kings chapter 1-2. Okay. But I want to help us. Hopefully this is what I heard, and hopefully you can get what I'm getting at from this. I'm so excited I can't even hardly get out of my mind. What's going through my mind, I can't even get out of my mouth because I'm so excited. But look, man came from the dust. Didn't we just read that? Man came from the dust. God formed him from the dust of the earth, and he breathed life in him. Okay? So to me, and then for woman, he took woman from the rib. He put them to sleep, opened them up. He did some surgery on them. Opened them, and he gutted them. Pulled a rib out, created a woman. Here's what I heard from reading that. Okay? I'm not going to say God told me this. I don't do that. Because this might have been just a wrong thing, and I might just be wrong. Okay? And I'm not going to indict God on that, because this might be a wrong thing. But this is what I heard, and why we struggle. Because understand, man, we are created to work. We are created to have dominion over. Okay? I just read that. We just talked about that, right? So we were created from the outside in, which means we are physical creatures. We look at the outside. We protectors. Okay? We workers. We grinders. We go-getters. We tenders. We take care of stuff. We protect. That's what we do as a man, because that's what we were created to do. And so we work from the outside in. But women, they created from the inside out. And so you wonder why women react the way they do. You wonder why when you mess with their child, it's another whole level. They instantly go there when you mess with their kids. When you mess with you mess with their household. Because the women, y'all are created from the inside out. And so that causes some trouble. That causes some misunderstandings. Because if we take the time to understand how we were created, then we can understand why we react to the things that we do the way that we do. That might cut down on some of the friction that we have, because we fail to understand where we come from. That's why I keep telling y'all, look, there is nothing wrong with reading this. I promise you, you'll learn so much out of this right here. I promise you, this book is not, don't be scared of it. Ain't nothing to be scared of. It's here to help you. It's here to help you grow. It's truth. And that's what we've been on for the last 4, 5, 6 months. It's finding truth. No better place to find it than right here. And in Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2 is telling us right there, especially chapter 2, how we were created. And if we take the time and understand how we were created, then it makes us easier to understand why we react and why we do what we do. He did that for a reason. Men, and we've been fighting to be in our proper place. I ain't even getting into chapter 3 when they got to. We're going to leave chapter 3 alone. That's another whole conversation. But y'all go read chapter 3. You know what happened in chapter 3. Everybody know that story. Okay? But the bottom line is, we have to understand where we come from, why we do what we do. That would help us in how we interact with one another, how we deal with one another, how we talk with one another. We all are nurturers. I looked up the word nurture, and I want you to know this word, because I always used to say women are natural nurturers, but men are too. But we just nurture in different ways. But here's the definition of nurture: care for and encourage the growth or development of men heavily. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't even read my own handwriting. Sorry. Care for and encourage the growth or development of. That's what nurture means. Okay. Let me say it one more time. Care for and encourage the growth or development of. We all are nurturers, but we just nurture in different ways. And if you understand men, we nurture from the outside in because we were created from the outside in. Women created from the inside out because what did he do? He went into Adam, pulled a rib out, created women. So you came from the inside. And that's why you are the way you are, which makes you beautiful, which makes you needed, which makes you necessary. And it also makes us necessary because we are natural protectors. Because why? That's how we were created. So please know and understand that. Hopefully that word will help you in your interactions with whoever you had to interact with. Okay? Hopefully it'll strengthen your relationships because now you can see why he does what he does. I'm not saying that's the answer for it all because it's not. It's not. But this word, we got to use it. We got to get in it. We got to talk about it. We got to digest it. We got to chew it. We need this word because this is the absolute truth. And the more you read it, the more you begin to understand who you are and why you do what you do and why they do what they do. He didn't make a mistake when he created us. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. And it's a beautiful thing. Matter of fact, you read the word, he said it was a good thing. What he created, what he formed was a good thing. You a good thing. So keep going. Stay on your grind. Do what you're supposed to do. That burning on the inside, that thing that just won't let you rest, it's there for a reason. Act on it. And as I always tell you, what you're supposed to do, pray, plan, prepare, proceed. Go make it do what it do. I'm going to see you next week at 6:30. Love you.